Good morning. I'm Zinklea Samoa in for Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers right now on Morning News Now. Deals and steals this morning. Millions of shoppers logging on, looking for big Cyber Monday bargains and some much needed spending relief at a time of record inflation.
It has surpassed Black Friday as the biggest shopping day of the season, and it shows no signs of slowing down.
But are the discounts really worth the hype? We have team coverage on what shoppers can expect. Also this morning, runoff rally. Early voting is now underway across Georgia in that high-stakes Senate race between incumbent Raphael Warnock and his Republican challenger Herschel Walker. We'll tell you about the turnout so far at the polls as both campaigns make their final pitch for votes. Unrest, a shocking display of defiance across China developing this morning. Protesters clashing with police and new calls for longtime leadership to step down as outrage grows over the communist country's zero COVID policy. We'll bring you the latest. And a voice for the voiceless. During this National Native American Heritage Month, we'll explore the unique relationship between Indigenous people and climate change, with one filmmaker hoping to bring Native culture into the conversation. More on the project aimed at changing the world. It's really a very cool series that we're going to get to have a live conversation about later this hour.
Can't wait to see it.
Absolutely. And happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
happy
to see you.
Happy everything. Happy holidays.
Black
now
Friday,
it's officially
Cyber
here.
Monday.
Exactly. Happy Cyber Monday. That's where we start today. Cyber Monday 2022. And it actually could be the biggest online shopping day ever.
That is right. The holiday shopping season is already off to an impressive start for online retailers after a record-breaking Black Friday, with online sales topping $9 billion for the first time ever. Today alone, shoppers are expected to shell out an estimated $11.2 billion online. But that shopping surge also comes as inflation is pushing prices up 7.7% from last year. We have a full breakdown this morning, including info on just where you can track down the best deals with the host of YouTube's gadget game show. What the heck is that, Steve Greenberg? But we begin with NBC News business and data reporter Brian Chung. Brian, good to see you. So you're inside an Amazon facility right now in Robbinsville, New Jersey. I understand the workers are on a break right now, but how busy has it been there this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Zinkley. Good morning, Savannah. Plenty going on here at this facility in Robbinsville, New Jersey. There's conveyor belts and sorting machines and people folding out those iconic boxes already, all because of the fulfillment of those orders that we saw from Black Friday. And a lot of orders there were Amazon saying it was a record-breaking Black Friday. Tens of millions of shoppers purchasing more items compared to previous Black Fridays. So again, you can see a lot of the activity going on here at this facility and will continue to happen throughout the day, and more likely expected because of expected Cyber Monday sales as well. For what it's worth, MasterCard saying that Black Friday saw in-store sales increase by 12% year over year. E-commerce sales up 14% year over year, which bodes well for continued volume on this Cyber Monday, which will keep a lot of other facilities around the nation like this one very busy.
Yeah, continued volume. I'm sure that facility will get busy as the day continues. And Brian, I know you've been keeping us informed all weekend. Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and now today, Cyber Monday. And inflation does not appear to be slowing spending as a whole, but families are still struggling from high costs, coast to coast. So how exactly are shoppers coping right now?
Yes, certainly. And again, big looming cloud when it comes to shopping in this particular holiday season is the fact that prices on average are 7.7% higher than they were this time last year. And even though I just kind of gave you some statistics about how volumes are higher this year, think about that in dollar terms. That doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be getting more gifts with that budget, because everything across the board is more expensive. So I spoke with parents, for example, that mentioned they're going to have to make compromises, trying to recycle toys perhaps from last year so they have more budget to spend on larger ticket items this year. In some cases, they're choosing to also shop for a fewer amount of family members. So sorry to maybe some of those extended uncles. But again, higher prices causing some families to make some compromises this holiday season.
Absolutely. A lot of changes coming this year. And Brian, I know that if you've waited until today to do your shopping, there may be some changes, some differences. What do you need to know, and what should we be watching out for?
Yeah, well, first thing to know is that if you perhaps passed on a deal on Black Friday, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily over. Cyber Monday will have the opportunity for you to perhaps find some things online, but not necessarily only online. Remember that there's a lot of price matching that you could do at the likes of Target, at the likes of Best Buy. So if you see something online, maybe try to take it to your local retailer to get it in person as well. And also remember, it's not necessarily a dash just this weekend. A lot of sales are likely to bleed beyond Cyber Monday as well. So if you miss the boat here, it's not the end all. And there's some things that you might not even get a good deal on today or through the rest of the season. Things like winter gear, clothing, and boots. Those are always in demand because guess what? It's cold. Maybe wait until after the new year to get those things.
All right. Helpful information. Brian Chung, thank you.
And now let's bring in Steve Greenberg. Steve, good to have you with us this morning. So, I mean, we've been talking about inflation's impact on holiday shopping this year, just how expensive everything is. So how can we shop smart this Cyber Monday?
Well, there are so many great tools when it comes to shopping smart. Whether you're using Camel or Price Blink or one of the other apps that you can download that actually help you do price comparison to give you alerts when deals are coming in. Because you're working on your computer, because it is a Cyber Day, there's so many great, really terrific apps out there that can really make a difference. There's PayPal's Honey Drop List, as I said, Price Blink, Camel, and others, and even things like Centrally, which, again, all make it easier to get automatic coupons and whatnot, again, to knock down the prices even more than they already are knocked down today.
And let's talk about some specific deals we can find. What are some of the best ones you're seeing so far?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of great stuff when it comes to, for example, Alexa-enabled devices. I hate saying her name because it wakes everybody's Alexa up, but 70% off is being offered, 60% off on Ring and Blink home security devices, even things like the American Girl doll, which never goes on sale. I'm seeing prices on the dolls and the accessories 30% off. And AT&T is giving out iPhone 14s, brand new ones, free when you do a $130 trade-in. So there are some great deals there. A Samsung 58-inch Crystal UHD 4K is 37% off at Target. So that brings the starting price down to under $400. So there's really are some excellent deals out there price-wise. And again, it's just about, getting on top of it and going through it and just being safe out there. Don't click on links that you just get. Make sure you go to the retailer's website. Check for that you're on the real retailer's website. Check for those misspellings because, again, the hackers out there and the bad guys who are out to scam you, they try to put up some close names, like instead of Best Buy, it'll be Best Buys. And if you click on that, you're going to be going down a bad wormhole. So,
wow, that's
buyer beware, please.
Yeah, that's great advice there. So, Steve, tell us what are ways that we can make sure that we don't do something like that? Checking the name, that's a great one. Anything else, URLs, thing like that?
Check the name. Go on to the retailer's website yourself rather than taking a click, something that's been fished to you that you've got, you can click on and go directly to the Target site, the Walmart site, go directly into Amazon. Don't click on a sale link that's been sent to you through your email. And again, once you are on the site, just double check to make sure that URL looks legitimate. If it doesn't look legitimate, back away, start again. Because again, you're putting your credit card information there, and try to use your credit card and not your debit card, because there's more protection with a credit card than there is with a debit card.
Great tips there. Steve Greenberg, thank you so much. Happy shopping.
Happy shopping. Check out my holiday sweater. See?
I love it.
I'm in the spirit already.
Yeah, exactly. Merry Christmas. Thanks, Steve.
And we turn now to the hectic holiday travel rush. More than 2,500 flights were delayed yesterday as severe weather in the Northeast and other parts of the country caused headaches for Americans heading home on one of the busiest travel days of the year. Here's NBC News correspondent Sam Brock with the latest.
Savannah, Zinkley, good morning. We always knew that weather was the X factor here, and right now it is a much calmer start at airports nationwide. About 500 delays or so. Compare that to 6,500 back on Sunday. So certainly vast improvement there. The worst airports are Reagan, Newark, and DCA in Washington, D.C., all, of course, on the East Coast. More affected by those weather patterns. For some context, though, the thing is, under normal circumstances, when you have weather events, you're looking at about 100 to 150 cancellations per day for domestic airlines. On Sunday, it did top 100. We were looking at about 170 or so, but it was the first time all week that happened, which is to say it's a pretty strong testament to the fact that the airlines have handled this test after a massive meltdown back on Memorial Day and slow improvements over the course of the year. But certainly, in terms of just sheer volume, Thanksgiving Day was going to be sort of the litmus for whether or not airlines can handle the situation moving forward. We know, guys, they've hired more pilots. They've trimmed back on their flight schedules. Apparently, that has largely worked, but you can't control Mother Nature. Now, the next step in all of this, of course, is going to be the Christmas holiday. Experts say you want to book about 21 days in advance. So if you are planning on flying December 22nd, December 23rd, it's only about a couple of days from now where you're going to hit that 3-week window. So book soon. As for those who hit the roads, it's close to 49 million people, and they did get one little respite, which is the gas prices came down just a bit. They're about $3.55 a gallon versus $3.70, $3.80 just a month ago. So one silver lining is so many people were driving in parking lots on highways all up and down the East Coast where that weather really slowed things down. But at least they were paying less at the pump. That's the latest here in Miami. Let me send it back to you.
Sam Brock, thanks so much.
And let's get more on this with a check on your morning news now weather.
Michelle Grossman, good morning and happy Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday, all of the things.
Yeah. Yeah, happy all around. Hi there, guys. So great to see you. I'm happy to see both of you. And we have a really busy weather week on hand. We're looking at a powerful storm system that's going to move across the country. So we're going to be watching this for the next 3 days or so. And by tomorrow, we're looking at the chance for some pretty strong, severe storms. So we'll talk about that. We're going to start on the cold side first, though. We're looking at heavy mountain snow in the west, lower elevation rain where you see the green. That is the rain along the coast of the Pacific Northwest. The blue is the snow falling. So that will be the big story today. Heavy mountain snow. We could see up to 2 feet in some spots in the highest elevations. Those levels will start to come down over the next day or two. We're also looking at really gusty winds gusting over 55 miles per hour. That's going to blow the snow around. So we're looking at difficult travel. Maybe you're headed back today from your Thanksgiving celebration. You're going to have some problems out west. Now, as we head towards tomorrow, we have really cold air filtering in behind this cold front. Frigid air, temperatures in the teens and 20s. That cold front is going to interact with really warm air. There's a lot of moisture, too, from the Gulf. And that's why we're concerned about a severe weather outbreak. And by that, we mean long tracking tornadoes, really strong tornadoes, too. Hail could be the size of baseball, and also really gusty winds gusting over 75 miles per hour. So that's the story tomorrow. You need your tornado plan in place in the lower Mississippi Valley portions of the western Ohio Valley. Then this will move off to the east as we head towards Wednesday. We're not expecting severe weather Wednesday in the east, but we're expecting really heavy rainfall. So let's start on the snowy side. We're looking at winter alerts all across the west. We're looking at winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, winter storm advisories. And again, we could see up to 2 feet of snow in some spots. That's great news for the snowpack where you see the pinks and the purples. That's where we're expecting the highest snow. Also really windy once you head further down to the south, the southwest, parts of the Four Corners. We're looking at winds gusting up to 55 miles per hour. That alone even causes some difficult travel. But this is what we really want to highlight tomorrow. 12 million at risk for severe weather, winds gusting up to 75 miles per hour, long tracking tornadoes are possible, also really large hail. So where you see that red, the orange, portions of Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana into Mississippi, this is where we're most concerned for the severe weather. We're talking about the afternoon hours, the evening hours, and then, unfortunately, could continue into the overnight hours, and that's when it becomes particularly dangerous. Also expecting a lot of rainfall with this. That could lead to some flash flooding in portions of Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, also Georgia, where you see those brighter colors, the oranges and also the yellows, some reds, too. We could see the heaviest rain, and that could lead to the flash flooding. So this is the problem here. It's a temperature contrast. We have really cold air to the west, temperatures in the 30s and 40s, some spots below freezing today, and then out ahead of it, we're warm. We're above average, so temperatures near 60 degrees in some spots, especially in Texas. We're going to be into the 60s, and that's going to aid some of the storms tomorrow. So notice tomorrow we're dropping down into the teens below freezing in Salt Lake City. That's 13 degrees below normal, just 14 in portions of Montana, 23 degrees in Rapid City, and then really warm ahead of this cold front. That's going to cause some problems tomorrow. So, guys, we're going to be watching this very closely for you. We'll talk about it next hour, and, of course, we're going to talk about it more tomorrow. Back to you.
All right, Michelle, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure.
And turning now to Georgia, where early voting has begun for the highly anticipated Senate runoff race between incumbent Raphael Warnock and GOP challenger Herschel Walker.
Yeah, the Democratic incumbent received 35,000 more votes than Walker in the November 8th general election. Still, though, it was not enough to meet that 50% threshold required in the state of Georgia to win the race outright, and that's resulted in this runoff election. Republicans are now rallying behind Walker, hoping for a last-minute surge in votes. The Trump-backed candidate has faced a series of scandals throughout his campaign. NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray joins us now for more on this. Mark, always good to see you. So, I mean, we're already seeing this rush of voters headed for the polls in this runoff race. Now, we know control of the Senate has already been decided. So tell us what is at stake here. Why is this still a big deal?
It's a big deal because it's a 6-year term, and you're exactly right. The earlier general election ended up deciding that Democrats were going to hold control of the United States Senate no matter what ends up happening in this runoff contest next week. But this is the difference between Democrats being at 50 Senate seats plus Vice President Kamala Harris casting the tie-breaking vote, or Democrats being at a 51-49 majority. And, of course, being able to hold on to this and win this Senate seat for a 6-year term in one of the most important battleground states in America, in Georgia, is always a big deal.
And Mark, notably, Georgia Democrats, including Raphael Warnock, were petitioning a Georgia state judge for an extra day of early voting for the runoff election, and they got their wish. Local Republicans, though, say the move is meant to benefit Warnock's campaign. So what kind of turnout have we seen so far? And really, is it fair to say early voting gives an advantage to one candidate or another?
Well, we end up seeing that Democrats usually employ early voting, and particularly early in-person voting, more than Republicans do. And this is important for a lot of Democrats who believe that it's important to be able to cast votes beyond just voting on Election Day. And this was a big deal because the Warnock campaign and Democrats wanted to have one Saturday to be able for people to vote early and in person. And because of the new laws truncating the period of this runoff date, it was in question whether you would end up having a Saturday early voting, but Democrats were able to petition and get that in places in some of the large counties like Fulton County, right outside of Atlanta.
Let's talk now about what voters are saying that they care about. Of course, that's what really matters and what it really comes down to in an election. So NBC News exit polls show the top issues in Georgia were abortion for Democratic voters and immigration for Republican voters. Will those issues be enough to get people back out to the polls to presumably be voting again, or are you expecting to see a drop in voter turnout in this runoff?
Historically, Savannah, we've always seen a vote drop off in turnout. And remember, you had just come off a general election where people are casting ballots for more than just this one contest. And in the runoff, there are usually fewer people who end up participating. Although notably, when Warnock and John Ossoff ended up winning their 2021 runoffs, the drop off between the general election and runoff was not that steep at all. But so you are exactly right. People are trying to get any motivating factor whatsoever to make sure that people end up participating, because turnout is everything in this runoff election, when turnout is always smaller than in the general election.
Turnout is everything. And Mark, we know Democrats have already secured a majority in the Senate, right? That is not new. But has this changed how the two candidates, Warnock, Walker, are campaigning at all?
This is really kind of just basically the general election contest all over again. So we've actually seen both candidates attacking each other's character, past controversies. We've seen Herschel Walker, the Republican challenger, talk about Joe Biden and inflation. And so it's basically like we had all the arguments from the last month basically playing out all over again. Pretty much the same ads are running that we ended up seeing last month.
All right, Mark Murray, as always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And now to the growing backlash facing former President Donald Trump and the Republican Party. The 2024 Republican presidential candidate recently had dinner with controversial musician, formerly known as Kanye West, and a white supremacist. And while Trump has faced criticism and condemnation for the dinner, members of his own party have been largely silent. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale has more.
Another reckoning for the Republican Party after former President Donald Trump dined with a white supremacist at his Mar-a-Lago club.
Trump is really impressed with Nick Fuentes.
Rapper Kanye West brought Fuentes, a neo-Nazi, to dinner with Trump, who says he didn't know him. In the aftermath, silence from GOP leadership. The loudest condemnations coming from those Republicans likeliest to challenge Trump in 2024.
I hope someday we won't have to be responding to what former President Trump has said or done. In this instance, it's important to respond. It's very troubling.
Former Trump ally Chris Christie calling it another example of Trump's awful lack of judgment.
He's issued a statement and said he didn't know who those people were. But at any rate, my focus is going to be on investigating the current administration.
It comes as Republicans ready to take control of the House and ramp up oversight.
We're going to investigate between 40 and 50 different things.
Among them, COVID-19 funding and the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan.
The veterans deserve this first and foremost.
Plus, more controversial topics like Hunter Biden's laptop. But while the GOP game plan is set, who will lead the charge is not.
Let's get America back on track.
Top Republican Kevin McCarthy working to win the 218 votes he needs to become House Speaker. A handful of Republicans vowing they'll never vote for McCarthy toughens his task. And yet,
the fact is, what's the alternative here? I do think he will get the votes to 218 on January 3rd.
But even as Washington looks ahead to 2023, one key 2022 race left to run. Georgia voters flocking to the polls this weekend in that marquee Senate runoff. More than 90,000 voted already, rivaling November's midterm early voting numbers. A win here still essential, even though Democrats will already keep control of the Senate. And lawmakers have a long to-do list before they close the book on this Congress. Election reform, same-sex marriage protections, and funding the government. All things Democrats hope to tackle in the next month.
Allie, thank you so much.
Now, this week on Meet the Press, Colorado Governor Jared Polis discussed the latest mass shooting in his state and how the nation needs to address gun violence. We also heard from Dr. Anthony Fauci on his career and the legacy he leaves behind. Meet the Press moderator Chuck Todd has the recap.
Do you think this has to come from the federal level? Is there anything more the state of Colorado can do in your mind?
Well, we're certainly going to take a hard look at why red flag law wasn't used in this case, in the case of the King Soopers shooter, what can be used to better publicize, make available, add different parties to make sure that it's used when it should be used. But, of course, the answer needs to be national as well. So, yes, it should be looked at federally, but that doesn't mean to the exclusion of mental health issues, of looking at the rhetoric that's used in the political realm and how that can instigate these acts of violence.
Assuming you're chairman of the Oversight Committee, if you've got one investigation you get to focus on, if there's just one, I know you've got a bunch you want to do. What's the one?
Well, we're going to investigate between 40 and 50 different things. We have the capacity. We'll have 25 members on the committee, and we're going to have a staff close to 70. So we have the ability to investigate a lot of things. And let's just face it, Chuck, over the past 2 years, the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee haven't investigated anything in this administration. We believe that there have been hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars wasted over the past 3 years. So that spans 2 administrations in the name of COVID. We want to have hearings on that.
Where are you on this now? I mean, everybody's always curious. Where is Fauci on the lab leak theory?
I have a completely open mind about that, despite people saying that I don't. I have a totally open mind about that. But if you look at the preponderance of evidence that has been accumulated by international group of highly respected evolutionary virologists, they feel, and they've written peer-reviewed papers on that, that the evidence strongly points to this being a natural occurrence of a jumping of a virus from a bat to an animal species to human. Hasn't been definitively proven, but the evidence on that is pretty strong.
Do you think our politics is so divisive, though, that somebody in your position just can't succeed anymore?
I'm very troubled by that, Chuck, because through all the crises I've been through, I've never seen the intensity of the divisiveness now. And if you look at public health principles, it just doesn't make any sense how you could have a divisiveness where ideological principles or ideological bents have people make decisions that have impact on their lives and the lives of their family.
Welcome back. In China this morning, police are cracking down on protesters following a weekend of unprecedented demonstrations across several major cities.
People have been taking to the streets to protest the country's strict zero-COVID policy. And in a rare show of dissent, some have even called for President Xi to stand down. NBC News foreign correspondent Janice Mackey-Frayer joins us now from Beijing for more. Janice, good to see you. So can you just walk us through some of the scenes witnessed in China over the weekend and tell us what sparked this wave of protests in the first place?
Well, it was extraordinary to see protests in China, protests in multiple cities happening simultaneously with a common cause. You see, zero COVID has been the common denominator here. Everybody has been living under this system. 3 years of restrictions, 3 years of quarantines, of testing, of monitoring, of surveillance, and the anger against the system has been growing. What sparked it was a deadly apartment fire in Xinjiang province in the northwest of China. 10 people were killed, and widely blamed were COVID measures at the building. Allegations that the exits had been blocked, that emergency crews couldn't reach the building, and that it took 3 hours to get the flames out. Officials have denied that, but they are still investigating. And in Xinjiang, they've been under lockdown for over 3 months. So this anger has been percolating. That was the trigger. People had been expecting that there would be some change in the zero COVID policy after the 20th Party Congress last month. And when that didn't happen, they just needed a spark to snap.
Janice, we also know that among the people briefly detained by police was a BBC journalist. Tell us what happened to him and what the BBC is saying about it.
Well, in Shanghai, there were protests over 3 nights. So it started as candlelight vigils for the victims of the Xinjiang fire. And eventually those protests became a little more lively. That's where we saw some protesters calling for Xi Jinping to step down, a very bold move in China. And so tempers were beginning to flare. Ed Lawrence, who is a photographer for the BBC, was detained. He appeared to be kicked and punched by the officers and pushed down to the ground. He was released a few hours later. The BBC was told by officials that they were removing him from the protest scene for his own good so that he didn't catch COVID, because cases are on the rise here. An explanation that the BBC did not take very seriously, and they're demanding to know why an accredited journalist was treated in such a way.
Something we all want to know, and so much of this video is so disturbing. And Janice, you mentioned COVID. All of this is coming as China reports another day of record COVID cases. How much of a challenge are these protests for the country's leadership, and are they likely to really listen to the protesters?
Well, the unrest does pose a challenge for Xi Jinping and the leadership. The zero COVID policy is his signature policy, so they're not in a position to be seriously walking back any of the measures. There's also the concerns that it could trigger a bigger wave of cases. For the past 3 years, the government has put abundant resources into building an infrastructure of mass testing, of quarantine centers, of sending people to hospitals. What they haven't done is scale up vaccinations in the same way. And foreign vaccines still aren't approved here. So what that has left is a population that has little experience with the virus, and also a high number of the elderly and vulnerable people who remain unvaccinated. So for Xi Jinping, there are only hard choices ahead as they navigate these next few days with the expectation there will be more protests.
Only hard choices. Janice Mackey-Frayer, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's stay on international headlines this morning. And Iran state media is calling for the U.S. to be kicked out of the 2022 World Cup.
NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter joins us now for more on this. Good morning, Molly.
Sinclair, Savannah, good morning to you. That's right, a little World Cup drama playing out off the field. So Iranian state media this morning has called for the U.S. to be ousted from the World Cup because over the weekend, the U.S. Soccer Federation temporarily changed Iran's flag on social media. It was in a graphic of the Group B standings. They removed the emblem of the Islamic Republic in the center of the flag. Now that graphic has now been deleted, and U.S. Soccer saying in a statement they did it in support of the women in Iran fighting for basic human rights. Now, in Italy, search teams have now recovered at least 7 bodies, including a 3-week-old infant after the weekend's deadly mudslides in the resort town of Ischia. Now, officials have confirmed that at least 5 people remain missing today. They are feared buried under the debris of the landslide that pushed mud and debris hurtled cars down into the sea. Really dramatic pictures, even collapsing buildings. And finally, a look at these pictures after 2 years off because of COVID. The Rio Pride Parade is back in action. It was a carnival-like atmosphere on the city's famed Copacabana beach, music blaring, rainbow flags flying, and the theme of the 27th Pride Parade there was Courage to be Happy. Pretty awesome photos, guys.
And what a theme, Courage to be Happy. Molly, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Veteran police officers across the country are choosing to quit the force, leaving many departments with serious staffing shortages. NBC News correspondent Ron Allen spoke with former officers about why they choose to turn in their badges.
You always want to be a police officer when you grew up?
Always, yes, definitely.
Dusty Steele served 11 years, several as chief in the small police department of Blue Mound, Texas.
I think it's time I move on.
But by September of this year, he'd had enough, handed in his badge, and stormed out of a city council meeting.
Why did you decide to resign?
In my situation, budget issues. We had been passed over for raises for the past 3 years, and not only no raises, our budget was cut by about 20%.
The mayor defended the cuts, saying every city department was affected. But it wasn't just about the money, says Steele, but also a lack of appreciation.
Did the job change over the years?
It has significantly, yes. It seemed to get tougher for police officers, the media scrutiny. And when an officer makes a mistake, that officer could either be killed or end up in jail the rest of his life.
In the years since George Floyd's death and other high-profile incidents, protests demanding police reform, and the COVID pandemic, studies show police staffing down by 3% nationwide, resignations up by 42% in 2021 compared to 2019. More than a dozen departments we reached out to said they were understaffed, with many facing retention and recruitment challenges.
I didn't feel my victims were getting their justice they deserved. I started, I wouldn't call it going downhill, but mentally I was, just kind of wiped out.
Joy Kohangi stepped away from policing after 15 years in northern Wisconsin and many sleepless nights.
Were there a lot of instances where prosecutors didn't follow through after you made an arrest?
Yes.
That got frustrating.
Very much so. When I would wake up, I questioned, what am I doing this for? So if I can't change the job, I need to change me.
I was putting a lot of effort, I guess, into trying to do decent things and just not much return, I guess, not much, even just the minor, thank yous in life.
Jody May served 20 years in suburban Illinois and retired sooner than he expected last December. He says he found racially charged anti-police protests especially disheartening because his family is multiracial.
My wife is of mixed race. I have mixed nieces and nephews. I was called a racist and I was called, other things and hope you die and all that kind of stuff. And, so it kind of hurt me.
Would you encourage young men and women to become officers?
I do. I'm one of the biggest backers of getting young people to be a police officer.
Tyrone Dennis left the Atlanta police force after 16 years, like many retired cops, for a better paying job related to law enforcement. He's public safety director for schools in St. Louis and runs a nonprofit that tries to improve police-community relations.
You're going to have to go into some of these communities and recruit people within the community to be the cops. We need to go into the inner city and wherever to recruit people from different walks of life.
A prescription for policing that he thinks just might keep more cops on the beat and help reinforce the country's thin blue line. Ron Allen, NBC News.
Now to an NBC News investigation into an alarming trend. Dangerous drugs like fentanyl being delivered through Uber Connect without the driver even knowing about it. I spoke to a grieving mother who has a warning for other parents about the risks.
This is her as a baby.
It's been 9 months since Ann Portillo lost her daughter, Alex.
I have really been taking things minute by minute, forget day by day.
Alex was in recovery for 7 months, but died from a fentanyl overdose just 2 days after her temporary release from a sober house, needing to quarantine from COVID-19.
We made sure that she was in a good place where she was safe.
Alex was staying alone in her family's home in a gated community where entry was monitored by security and her mother. One morning, Ann received an alert from the front gate. It was an Uber with a delivery for Alex.
She used to always order food, and it wasn't really anything out of the ordinary.
But it wasn't food. Alex connected with a friend online and bought fentanyl from him. He used Uber Connect to deliver it to her.
Never in a million years would I think that they were delivering a lethal dose of fentanyl, but that's what happened.
Uber Connect was created during the pandemic, a fast way to send goods with drivers. Unlike the Postal Service and other major delivery services, Uber Connect packages are not randomly inspected, and drivers are not allowed to open them. NBC News spoke to 6 former and current Uber drivers, telling NBC they worry some of their packages are suspicious and that they are unwittingly being used as drug mules. This driver asked us to conceal his identity and disguise his voice, fearing retribution.
When I picked the package up, the person who was giving it to me had track marks in their arms, and it went to the person who also had track marks in their arms.
Uber says using its services for illegal activity is expressly prohibited, and if a package looks suspicious, drivers are advised to take it to law enforcement. In the case of Alex Portillo, an Uber spokesperson confirmed they provided information to law enforcement in this investigation. The man who allegedly sold and sent Alex drugs through Uber Connect now faces charges in connection to her death.
What do you hope other families can learn or take away from what's happened to you and your family?
Watch their kids closely, their loved ones. Our country has a serious fentanyl crisis. I would say just pay attention.
A sobering warning there, and it's worth noting police departments I spoke with say they have encountered suspicious or unknown substances in Uber Connect packages. Just in January, Chicago police impounded a Band-Aid box after an Uber Connect driver told an officer she opened it and found what she thought was crystal meth. So drivers and riders are encouraged to stay vigilant, and that was a heavy story to report on, but an important one.
Absolutely great reporting.
Thank you, Savannah. And
welcome back. We're celebrating National Native American Heritage Month by taking a closer look at the fight to stop the global climate crisis by Indigenous peoples.
That's right. The award-winning Reciprocity Project series spoke with several Native communities about their relationship with Earth and what's at stake for their culture. Take a listen.
It's the land of our ancestors. We've always lived here.
To be able to share what we have with other people, it's medicine. It truly is medicine.
Wow. Let's bring in Reciprocity Project producer Tracy Rector for more. Tracy, so good to have you with us this morning. Thank you for making the time. We kind of just got a little bit of a sense of the answer, I think, to this question from that little snippet we saw there. But just kind of expand for us on what kind of connection Indigenous people have with their environments that make them really experts in a lot of ways on how to handle climate change, how to combat climate change.
Sure. Good morning. Yes, 80% of the remaining Earth's biodiversity, so all beings, including plants and animals, are on Indigenous managed and loved lands. And so that includes 36% of our forests. And essentially, Indigenous rights are human rights, which are solutions to the environmental crisis.
That's so fascinating. And I know for those unfamiliar, how are Indigenous people being harmed by the ongoing climate crisis? I know oftentimes underserved communities are the first impacted. So how is it impacting the lands that so many Native people live on?
That's so true. Underserved communities, inclusive of Indigenous and local peoples, are often the frontline communities for the environmental impact. We see this in the Amazon as an example, with the encroachment of farming, soy farming, beef farming, logging, mining on the Amazon forest. And so Indigenous peoples on the everyday basis are, facing these impacts and caring for the lands that essentially really impact our lives today and for future generations.
How are you able to work with different communities to highlight different traditions and cultures here? And what message do you ultimately hope that sharing those various communities, what does it mean a viewer should take away from this series?
Yeah, so we began this in April 2020, and we were trying to think through what are solutions that we can talk about today, and understanding that many solutions are held by Indigenous peoples. And so we endeavored on trying our first production virtually. And so all 7 films were made with communities within their COVID-safe bubbles virtually. And the message I'd have is, trust the creatives, trust the communities, trust the peoples to know what they want to talk about, and listen up.
Tracy Rector, thank you so much. Congratulations on this series. It's really incredible stuff. We appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And as much as a third of the food farmers make is going to waste because it does not look perfect. Now, some food entrepreneurs are fighting back. NBC News technology correspondent Jake Ward shows us how.
What if I told you that on a typical American farm, much of this beautiful crop never makes it to market? And it's our fault.
We waste so much food because people have a perception that, like, when you go to the store, you see a perfect piece of produce.
And yet only so much of what comes out of the ground looks the way shoppers expect it to. It's a shame because some of organic farmer Curtis Lucero's ugliest produce,
strange looking thing right here,
is also the tastiest.
That was amazing. See, nobody would ever buy that. You'd
never know. According to nonprofit Refed, around $418 billion worth of food goes to waste annually. That's about 90 billion meals lost every year.
The food system in the United States is incredibly inefficient. The estimate is that 1 in 4 pieces of food that we produce here gets wasted. But now a new generation of food businesses is turning what we used to throw away into cuisine.
At Shuggy's Trash Pie in San Francisco, overlooked ingredients are the star of every plate.
Trash pie is in our name. We're pretty open about it.
You're very honest.
Yeah, and I think we want people to know that.
Kayla Abe and David Murphy created this vibrant space to make it cool to eat cast-off food.
People come here and they sometimes don't even know that they're eating food waste, right? They're just here having a good time. So these little babies all have perfect, beautiful, usable flesh.
They've partnered with local farmers like Lucero to turn surplus crops into cuisine.
Our bigger mission is to bring other restaurants along, to bring consumers and diners along with us.
But with a problem as enormous as food waste, the solutions have to be just as big.
If we were to take all of the inefficiency in the produce market globally and wave a magic wand and get rid of it, I don't see any reason why that supply of fresh produce couldn't reasonably feed a very large chunk of the world.
Misfits Market is a direct-to-consumer service that buys lower-cost, imperfect food in bulk and delivers it straight to homes nationwide. The company expects to surpass $1 billion in sales in a year, but that won't happen without changing consumer perceptions.
How do you get across to people who are used to perfect carrots and perfect tomatoes that they should be considering buying misfit products like you sell?
People get really sort of interested and mesmerized by the twisted carrots that are intertwined or the heart-shaped potato. And so a lot of it is storytelling.
The truth is that the planet is changing, and we cannot afford to be this picky.
There's less farmland, there's less water. We have to adapt to the climate. It's either eat this blemish piece of fruit or not eat anything at all.
Maybe it's just a question of creativity and the right attitude.
People are looking for solutions, I think, and we're trying to give people a starting point.
the strange looks and good taste of a sustainable future. Jake Ward, NBC News, San Francisco.
Welcome back. There was a standing ovation at a performance of Hugh Jackman's The Music Man revival on Broadway, but this time it was for someone in the audience. There were gasps and cheers for Nicole Kidman after she bid a hefty sum of $100,000 for a hat signed by her former co-star Jackman during a charity auction after the show. The auction was a benefit for the charity Broadway Cares. In response to Kidman's bid, Jackman said he was not surprised by her gesture, as she is one of the, quote, most generous souls he knows. Super kind words, especially, you know, I bet she could have gotten that signature for much less.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it shows for a good cause.
And I bet people also were gasping when she just like pops up out of the audience. They're like, wait a minute, you're here and you just paid that? Very cool. Thanks, and Clay.
Of course.
All right, now we're going to end this hour with the sweet story of a little boy who may be the New York Jets' biggest fan. Here's NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch.
Incomplete, and the Jets will win it. Every time we see this, Johnny Rosanea gets some of that.
When you get ice cream, what's your go-to?
Mint chocolate chip.
That sweet treat earned this 6-year-old New York Jets superfan the nickname Johnny Ice Cream, thanks to a deal with Dad that's become an adorable viral sensation.
My dad always takes me for ice cream when the New York Jets win. How many times do you think my dad is going to take me for ice cream?
A lot of times. As the official Atlantic Health System's Jets Kid reporter, Johnny asked rookie cornerback Sauce Gardner that hard-hitting question at training camp. 62 yards for the touchdown. Touchdown. Turns out Gardner was spot on. 6 wins already this year, every one followed by a video of Johnny tackling ice cream.
Oh, that's a good bite. How's that ice cream?
One.
When we beat Pittsburgh, he made me sit there and try to separate all the black and yellow sprinklers.
No way.
Yeah. Did not succeed.
Johnny, you've had ice cream 6 times this year.
Actually, 7 bowls, though,
7 bowls.
of ice cream.
Because he got 2 for the Buffalo win because it was such a big win.
This win deserves a whole ice cream cake. Hi, everybody. It's me, Johnny. Back again. Let's go, Jets!
We caught up with Johnny Ice Cream at Bloomfield, New Jersey's iconic Holston's. Kids coming in after school recognized him repeatedly.
Do you know how many people have seen you eating ice cream?
I don't know.
About 8 million people. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
That's just one TikTok approaching 9 million views.
It's been pretty nuts. We can't go anywhere without someone wanting a selfie from Johnny.
Now the Jets are cheering Johnny on, too.
Hey, Johnny, call your daddy. Johnny Jones taking me to some ice cream, baby. You can't back out of this deal, can you?
No, of course not. No, and trust me, I don't want to.
Confidence and pressure from a couple of fans who definitely have a lot riding on the game.
Jets, 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 Jets.
Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, Bloomfield, New Jersey.
Adorable. Kind of makes me want some ice cream.
So funny how much he loves it. Proud of it. It's too cute.
Too cute. But thanks for watching. That does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
But the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.